Urban Shadows describes itself as a political urban fantasy RPG. The political aspect shines with the death mechanic. Player characters will be tied to other characters and to NPCs with this system of deaths. The urban aspect is also fundamental. The game's authors are not shy and they tell you up front, it's not your story, it's not even your group's story, it's the city's story. And the fantasy aspect, well, just look at all the characters you can play. A ghost, a werewolf, a vampire, a wizard, a monster hunter. Varied characters with strong thematic mechanics. Urban Shadows uses the Powered by the Apocalypse system. This system originated with the Apocalypse World RPG, but now dozens and dozens of other games use it. For example, Masks and Legacy are two of the games that I really want to explore. This system uses moves. There's a mechanical aspect to moves, but they are also part of the narrative. You don't say that you want to do a certain move. In the conversation, you describe what your character does. And when the actions of the character happen to coincide with the triggers for a move, then you follow the procedure for that particular move. Most of the times you roll 2d6 and the result is modified by the applicable stat. The first type of moves is basic moves. For example, unleash an attack, escape a situation. There are also faction moves. Instead of using one of your 4 main stats, they use your score in a particular faction. There are also moves when you're cashing in or refusing to honor debts. Some of these moves will also help your character advance. You will mark a faction, the faction relevant for that particular move, and when all 4 factions are checked, you gain an advance. If we look at a playbook, you can also see there are drama moves. Corruption move, intimacy, and end move. Those moves are unique. Each playbook has different ones. Corruption is interesting because as you mark corruption, eventually you will gain access to powerful corruption moves. But eventually corruption will spell the end of your character. Playbook also has a space for special abilities, as well as moves from other playbooks you could acquire as you advance. On the other side, you can see the information for character creation with your starting stats and initial deaths. There are also questions to flesh out your character. In the middle, you can see the 4 main stats. They range from -3 to +3. Then there are the 4 faction stats and the list of advances for your playbook. There's also a space to record harm and scars, even if combat is not the focus of the game. On the right are your class or playbook moves and a list of your current deaths. How does this system play out? Well, this is not a game with ready-made adventures in mind. We play to see where the story goes, so the Master of Ceremonies must be able to react quickly to all the twists and turns. Though the Master of Ceremonies never rolls dice, he or she will push the story forward with soft and hard moves, or by framing scenes and creating threats, which can be presented to the players with clocks to track their progress. The players have a role as well. They can contribute, they can frame scenes. They also add elements in the beginning of a session with a session move where you add rumors about the city. There's no set duration for scenes. Some can be long, some can be very short. The author's guideline is simple. A scene will end when it's not interesting anymore. One quick word before I conclude. There's a second edition coming for the game very soon. Look for it on Kickstarter. What do I love about this game? The deaths mechanic is super simple and very rewarding. It creates tension. You never know when someone will ask you to pay up. And it's also fun to leverage your debts. The corruption system I also enjoy because everything comes with a price in this game. You are not a hero, and things probably won't end well for your character. I also love the playbooks. They are unique and they will help you to explore a particular team with their unique moves, corruption triggers, with the narrative description of the starting deaths. Things I like less: the NPC bloat, the start of session move where you can add rumors. It winds up creating a bunch of NPCs. Players will have a tendency to try to tie everything together, to have everyone be important, but it becomes too heavy. As for the advancement system, I don't like the fact that it forces you to interact with all four factions. It's not letting you see where the story goes. Perhaps I want a character or whole campaign dealing exclusively with one or two factions. I would have preferred a neutral advancement track. Still, it's an amazing game. It will require some investment, but the payoff is incredible. And personally, the campaign I played was one of the most satisfying and rewarding role-playing experience of my gaming career.